Hello, welcome to Star Wars Spelt Out. I'm your host, Josh Chapman, and today, classic returning guests. A guest I haven't spoken to, apart from like just when we started 2 seconds ago, for probably over a year. Spoken outside, but let's just get her on. Downtown Brittani Brown from the Canto Bight Dispatch. How's it going?
Hello. Thanks for having me back. It's always such a pleasure to be here.
Is it weird when you just get a message out of no? Because we have a social group of Star Wars friends. We have a Discord and a chat where we chat. So it's not like we're completely out of touch. But is it weird when you get like a DM? You're like, what's Josh like DMing me about?
I go through like the stages of like, oh, so there's something wrong with this like something's wrong, or then like I read it and I'm like, oh, it's good. I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm a guest. Like someone wants to be a guest in their home. Yes, of course. Like I feel like the biggest thing with me that I'm trying to learn, I feel like I'm forever trying to learn this, is under promise and over deliver. And I'm such a people pleaser. So like when someone's like, hey, can you do this for me? I'm like, yes, I'll do it right now. So
well, the thing is, you were we did this kind of last minute. I'd sort of throw out a few little, it's like fishing. You throw a few lines out to see if people are interested. You're like, yep, I'm down. I'm in. I can do it whenever you want to do it. And just say that you're just a people pleaser. I'm like, maybe you've actually got something really important on right now. You're like, well, I can't let him down. I'll put aside that my parents' wedding anniversary. It'll be all right. They'll understand.
No, well, ironically, like there's nothing going on. It's been like a really busy couple of weeks, and finally, like after Sunday, like everything's, nothing's going on. Like it should be a smooth month until like the end of this month and going into October. So this is like the perfect time.
I just knew in the air. I could feel. I was going, I think Brittani may have a window here. Let's just throw it out there. But no, thank you. It's been awesome having you here, and we've just got started. But I mean, I just saying, the last time we spoke face to face would have been Celebration London, probably over a year and a bit ago now.
Oh my gosh, where you saved my life. I can't thank you enough for everything that you did for me in London.
That's right. You were living in our flat with me, Kat, my partner Kat, and Catherine. It was funny because I really long story short is that Brittani got stuck on her own in London. Circumstances didn't quite work out, and the place that she was staying wasn't in the best part of London, and we had a spare bed where we were staying. So I just said, "Hey, you can come and stay with us." But we had this. I remember as soon as it sort of happened that you were having problems, my instant thing was like, "We'll get Brittani. She can come and stay with us." Because I remember didn't you call me or you were messaging me? Maybe when you were in Paris because you were kind of wondering what to do. Do you remember that?
Yeah, like I remember I was like right after I had my Normandy tour and like I couldn't sleep that night. So I was messaging you because I remember there was an issue with the Airbnb host that like apparently she was really strict on like the amount of people in the house.
Yeah.
And I felt so terrible because like normally like I'm not one to push, but I was like, I don't want to stay alone. What am I going to do? So Josh, help me, please.
Yeah, because normally I would straight away go, because normally my issue was like, yep, just come, we'll work it out. But I remember, I don't even know if we were in London yet. Maybe you'd already, because you got there a few days before us. We might have even been in transit, or I feel like maybe those first few messages I was still in Melbourne, like at the airport or something like that. And yeah, we just had this weird, the host messages were really weird. And it was very like, you can't do this, you can't do this, I'll be there when you get there and blah, blah, blah. And we kind of thought that she was staying like opposite the front door, like it was like a hallway and there was like a door on one side and a door on the other side. Like, I think she's like there. And then, so it was really weird for me to just go, I'm going to have to just find out. I don't know if you know what I mean? Like it was so against my nature. Yeah. Normally I'd be like, yeah, let's just do it, like whatever. But the problem was because we'd had an Airbnb cancelled already before we got there. I'm like, I can't risk it, like losing another Airbnb. And I've like got Catherine with me and I've got like my partner Kat's with us as well. And then I think after the first night, I was, and seeing that you were sort of like, oh, it's a bit much. It's all just a bit much. I was like, let's just message this lady and I'll see if we can cut a deal. And she was quite accommodating for some more money. And, I'm just like, I wish she'd just done it, because there was like a spare bed in there already.
Yeah, it's so funny because I feel like more lately Airbnb hosts have been like so strict. Like last year I had stayed at an Airbnb with my in-laws, and for some reason the host, like, she had cameras like all outside, so she was like always messaging my sister-in-law being like, hey, I see people, why is there a party going on, what are you guys doing? And she's like, no, it's not a party, we're just having people over. But we had like 30 people over, so I mean, like, technically it was a party. But she didn't overcharge us anything. But it was just so funny how, like, she was checking her like security cameras, like checking in on us, like just making sure like we're not breaking anything or doing anything. I'm like, we're all adults. But I feel like lately they're getting more strict and more expensive. Like Airbnbs are slowly becoming something like in the past.
Yeah, I think it's a thing that, because it's been around for a long time. I remember using it in New York, like, nearly 15 years ago, and going, oh, this is amazing, like we got a place and it was cheaper. But I think it's just become, people have just destroyed it, as is always the way, you know what I mean? Like, it's just got to a point where it's like people and greed and blah, blah, blah. It's just, they're legislating them a lot out of, in Victoria, they're going to start putting caps on, because people just rent their houses out rather than rent them out to people long term and all this sort of stuff like that. So we got you in the fold. I think maybe you had one night in the sort of the scary house, and then you were in with us in this sort of funny little loft area. It was a very funny little flat, and you're in this weird little up a little ladder kind of thing. But there was a bed, and I remember going like, oh, I mean, I guess it's okay up here, and you're just like, oh my god, this is great, I'm just going to lay down, this is, you were just sort of
it was so nice. Like I love a good loft. Like, it reminds me of, like, back when I was really young, one of my best friends in school, like, she had a loft and we'd always stay up there when I'd spend the night, and there's like a bed up there, a bunch of toys and everything. It was just so cozy. Like, I just think of lofts and I just think of like cozy homes.
It's like a little hobbit hole or something, isn't it? It's just like the low ceiling and the So that was sort of the funny start to you kind of got off to a rocky start on your European adventure, but pulled it in by the end, and we all had a lovely time. And yeah, that's weird. That's just like over a year ago now. And then Japan is sort of creeping up. My sister just stopped by on her way home. She got back from Japan yesterday, so she's been in Japan for about 2 weeks. So she stopped by on the way, just on her way back to her house back in the country, and just popped in. So I've been to Japan before, but I was sort of, how's it all going? What you think? Blah blah blah. She had a great time. So
that's so much fun. I know, unfortunately, not really last minute, but we have a lot of travel plans next year, so we had to, say goodbye
Sayonara?
to Japan. Yeah, say sayonara to Japan. I was trying to think of like, what word could I use? But no, my brain lately, I feel like I'm like word salad sometimes and brain fog half the time. But yeah, it didn't logistically work out, and prices too. And just for some reason, like with both families, like my in-laws and my family, like we're doing a bunch of cruises. Like we're doing one Hawaiian cruise in this October. Then we're going on a Mexican Riviera cruise with the in-laws in March. And then in July, we're going on a European cruise where Carlos finally gets to go to Europe.
The return tour.
The return tour. So, yeah, just before this,
You'll
it was funny
hat.
because... God, I know. Like they're so excited because they're like, everything. I'm like, no, not really, but it's so kind. But my parents, because I had saw this morning that Disney Paris, you can start like booking the hotels and everything. So before this, I had given my parents and Carlos a PowerPoint presentation of the Disney Paris property and hotels.
I thought you were going to say, I'm giving them a PowerPoint presentation of the French. You're like, right, I'm going to teach you what to expect with the French. I'm going to take you through rudeness, blah, blah, blah. You're going to get that coldness. You're not going to get a lot of help from the French. But you toughed it out at the start. You had a rough start and you made it through, and now you're like, well, I can face anything. I can get back there. I can conquer. Now I got my crew.
Oh my God, I know. Yeah, but oh my gosh, like still thank you for everything. You and Kat are lovely, and congratulations. I heard you guys just got engaged like recently-ish.
Well, we got engaged while we were away, like after celebration.
Oh, that's right. It was after celebration. Okay, yeah.
So we got
time.
Well, we got engaged. Yeah, so we did it in Portugal. So after we left you guys, we went to Portugal for 4 days or something, and then went back to London for a few more days and caught up with all my other friends. So we sort of front-loaded all the Star Wars, and then did all the other stuff afterwards. Because I was kind of like, well, I don't want to, because when I, friends and stuff, you tell them that you got engaged and blah, blah, blah. And like, oh, did you do it at Star Wars Celebration? You dressed up like Darth Vader, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, that's very funny. But I'm like, no, I separated all the Star Wars from that part of the, that was all done. So there was no sort of, distractions from that. And then also because because I used to live in England, obviously, I saw all my English friends after we did it, and then it was like we had a mini engagement party in England with like English friends and stuff. Like it would have been nice to, like, could have done it while the Star Wars people were there, but it was just sort of like, well, I didn't want to distract, and we were going to Portugal in the middle, and yeah, so we did that. We haven't got married yet. When were we in September? We were originally talking about getting married in November when we did it last year, and that's kind of crept up. And we went, oh, didn't do that. Maybe next year. There's a lot of logistics.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're the same way. Like, we got engaged last October. I can't believe it's already been here. We've just been so busy, and I all summer I was like, maybe we'll elope, and then like summer's over. I'm just like, I don't know. It'll just most likely next year. I'm just waiting for all this cancer stuff to be over. Then I'll be able to plan
there's
a
bit
wedding.
going on.
just a little bit.
I know it's crazy. That's like obviously. Like the third Star Wars friend, like you and Hawes and King Tom all around the same time, all sort of had to like kick cancer and stuff at the same. I was like, oh my God, it's
so crazy. Like it's something like I feel like you mentally prepare yourself for like crazy scenarios, and like for some reason like I had prepared myself like for a little bit of this crazy scenario, so it's like almost like when they told me I was just like,
of course,
okay, of course, okay, yeah, I can do this. Like 6 months ago I went to Europe by myself. I
dealt with the French. Cancer. I can cancer to walk in the park compared to the French.
What's worse, cancer or the French?
There's a t-shirt.
Oh my God. But yeah, no, it's been a journey, but hey, I'm still kicking. I'm tired all the time, but you know what? I'm still here. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's just, and it's, I can't imagine it. It's funny though. Did you have like, I remember when COVID first hit, hit, and there was like, I can't remember which country got it first. It was somewhere like Iran or somewhere sort of Middle Easty seemed to have got it worse at the start. That's sort of where it permeated, or at least that media got it. And there was sort of like, they were saying, oh, people like collapsing on the streets and blah, 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 blah. And it's this pandemic and blah, blah, blah. I remember having this sort of like moment of clarity going, well, I had a pretty good run. You know what I mean? Like just kind of like compartmentalizing like, well, it looks like that there's no way to avoid this. I had a pretty good run of that, and then of course you like check yourself. You're like, oh yeah, what about like everybody else and things like that. But that second where you're sort of faced with and I wasn't even really faced with mortality. It was just the idea of it. But like you're somebody who really faced their mortality. That's just crazy now because when you get out the other end, you're just like nothing will faze me.
Yeah, that's literally it. Like, I feel like, little things every now and then, like, just normal tics that I have, but just really big things now just aren't really big things anymore, Like, oh, this changed? Oh, okay. Like,
they canceled the Acolyte? Well, I guess that's a shame, but...
Yeah, I guess, yeah. It's terrible.
But,
Oh, God, the poor Acolyte. I, like, legit... When I found out that was canceled, I thought that was fake at first because I'm like, there's no way. They can't cancel a Star Wars show. Like, why do they have to cancel that one? Like, out of all those shows that they've put out on everything, like, why they have to cancel. I would rather have them cancel Willow twice rather than cancel the Acolyte. Like, you know, it wasn't my like top Star Wars show, but it had so much potential.
Oh, for sure. And the weird thing is that, like, you know, it's a couple of weeks off from it now, and I did an episode with Ben Hart from the Star Wars Underworld a couple of weeks ago, and we recorded literally like, it was like an hour after the news dropped. It was just complete coincidence. Like, we'd already booked the time, and then the Acolyte news dropped. So we were sort of like fresh off the back of it. We weren't quite sure. We didn't really have any facts. It was really just like, well, words got out that it's not going to happen and blah, blah, blah. And they're going, oh, well, you know, the viewership wasn't amazing, but, you know, and it cost too much money. I'm like, haven't Lucasfilm been trumping, like, this thing that they built to make TV shows for cheap? Like, they built the volume. All they go on about is how they can make amazing TV shows for not as much money anymore. Like, why can't they just... I don't understand why they... And it's great that they made it, but I saw behind the scenes stuff. They, like, built everything. They spent a bazillion dollars doing real sets, practical effects, and then they've got this, like, volume thing that they can make shows on the cheap for. Like, I don't care if it looks cheaper. Just make it. Who cares?
Yeah, like, bring back Puppet Yoda, like, you know, Puppet Yoda, you know, other people can be puppets. Like, they could have made Kiadi a puppet. I mean, for God's sake, they changed his name. Or they can make him a puppet too, you know? So I don't know. There's a lot better I think they could have done with, you know, production-wise, saving costs, et cetera, but what a bummer. I mean, like, maybe, hopefully, like, you know, either, like, they'll bring it back in comic books or like an animated show, because like animation's cheap-ish.
Well,
maybe
really said
question
anything.
Mark?
They still won't. There's still no like official like comment on it. Like no one from Lucasfilm, like this, you know, the social media is quiet. There's no actual press releases and stuff. And I think Ben and I talked about, like, Kathy Kenny doesn't come out to a stage and be like, okay, so we've cancelled this and we've cancelled this. It's just like, we reserve the right to basically bring back something or say something's coming back whenever we want to, when we figure out what we want to do with it. But it's just kind of, I don't know, like, even though I don't consider it to be a win for those kind of fans, I don't even like the idea of them thinking that they've got any kind of like win as well. And what kind of, it's not really a win anyway, is it? Really?
I don't know. To them, like, they think it is, and I mean, like, whatever helps them sleep at night. But I mean, they're wrong. So I mean, I hope they don't sleep well at night. Like, it's so gross, just the mentality of just like, you know, them, like, instead of like counting down to Christmas, they're like counting down to like the Acolyte being canceled. Like, it's so gross. Like, that's people's jobs, like, you know.
You reckon it's like, I mean, I don't know enough, I don't dig under the surface enough, but I would say it's probably the majority of it was probably white guys 17 to 29, let's just say. Let's put them in that demographic. And I'm sure there are some older ones as well. But I don't know. Yeah. Do you feel like it's something that you grow out of eventually? Like could you like look your wife in the eyes and tell them that's what you've been doing? Like, if you were like, you know, like your fiance Carlos, who we know and love, if Carlos like fell down the rabbit hole and then all of a sudden was like, you know, on these message boards and blah, 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 and start wearing a Cancel the Acolyte t-shirt and stuff like that, do you reckon he could like look you in the eyes at dinner? Do you think it would just...
Oh no, like if he like fell down like the rabbit hole and like became part of like QAnon or something, like, no, like, get out of my house. No.
Get out of here, man.
No, get out. Like, I don't know. I feel like all of that is like learned behavior. And I feel like, you know, a lot of these boomers are like teaching their kids shit. And then like those kids are growing up and they're like, oh, let's all hate the Acolyte, or like, let's all, you know, let's have these terrible opinions and views. And I don't know. Like, I feel like I blame everything on boomers. And I feel like
I look forward to my 3 holidays with my boomer parents and in-laws.
Yeah, it's so funny. But yeah, I feel like sometimes I'm just like, you know what, like, this is like, the boomers did this. Like, the boomers, they had kids, they taught their kids it's okay to be dicks, and now all these people are dicks online because, you know, America. I don't know. I mean, I think it's shitty of me to assume that a lot of these people that are doing the Acolyte are Americans, but honestly, like, I think that a majority of them are. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't really dig enough under the surface. I mean, you're the biggest sort of consumer entertainment country, so perhaps that's the same. That's the same way. I mean, it's yeah, I'd be curious to see whether it actually like floats over into other countries. You know, like if you go speak to some like Japanese like celebrations in Japan next year. So if you talk to Japanese Star Wars fans, is it the same deal, or does every society have its own little like? I suppose it probably does. Its own little clique of, you know,
shitheads. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for a better term. yeah. I don't know. It just seems weird to focus on that, but I mean, it's just weird. It just felt like an easy win to do another series. Like, what else have they got?
Yeah, there's not really much else. Like, Andor is going to be ending, and then The Mandalorian, like, they're going to keep that going until, like, Grogu's
goes to college.
900 years old. Oh, my gosh. But it's so sad because, like, they had it on a cliffhanger. Like, they're bringing in Yoda. Like, what would have Yoda done? Like, I wanted to get to know Yoda again. Like, for all the Yoda lovers out there, I mean, I'm not really a Yoda lover. Like, that's such a shame for them. And, you know, the people that were really loving, you know, Osha and Komir, like,
well, they made a star, you know. They turned Manny Jacinto into a star, and they had the bona fide star, and then they made him eat shit and go to conventions like a week later and go, oh, it's a real shame it's been cancelled. I really hope it comes back. I'm like, oh my god,
that's just such a bummer. Like, shame on Lucasfilm.
But they don't like we're all still coughing up for Disney Plus. Like, I kind of demand content. Like, if you're going to cancel shows, like, what are you giving me? Like, I'm not paying my Disney Plus subscription just to be able to get access, you know, the Lady and the Tramp whenever I want or something like that. Like, I kind of want, like, new stuff.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Like, think about it this way. When Disney Plus first came out, at the Disney convention, they gave a convention only 3-year pass to Disney Plus. It was like for like $129 for 3 years.
Yep.
That's the price now for Disney Plus.
For the year.
For 1 year.
Yeah.
And sure, like, there's ESPN, or I don't know, you have to pay extra for ESPN Plus and Hulu and like all that. But I mean, I don't know, but that should be included. Like, I should be able to watch Travis Kelce on my TV whenever I want because I have Disney Plus. And, like, I can't do that. Like, I have to pay an extra thing for ESPN Plus. I have to pay an extra thing for this. Like, it's, I don't know. I don't know what Disney's doing.
Well, most of the, like, 50%, if not more, probably more of the shit that on Disney Plus that I watch, I actually own on physical media still. So I don't, if they're not going to keep giving me new shit, like, yeah, where's my new Star Wars? I don't know. Like, okay, we've got Skeleton Crew coming at the end of the year, and then Ahsoka season 2 maybe, like an Andor. So I don't know. I kind of like I still buy up physical media when I see it. And it's funny because, like, a lot of stuff is quite, well, I don't, like, we've got like a market near us, which is like a sort of secondhand market kind of thing. And people are always selling, you know, DVDs and stuff because they've all gotten rid of all their DVDs because they've got streaming stuff. So I'll just buy Blu-rays, but anytime I see Blu-rays of stuff that I want, I'll just get it because I'm going, right, one day I'm going to get an email from Disney and they're going to say, Disney Plus is now, you know, $90 a month. And I'll go, all right, well, I'm cancelling that. I still want to be able to watch, you know, something. I might want to watch Captain America and the Winter Soldier one time. I can just walk over to the shelf and I can pop it in, provided I still have a DVD player. But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but that's so funny because, like, Rusty's like that, where just sometimes he just wakes up and he's like, I don't know, watch Thor Ragnarok today. It's like, where do you get those? Like, that's just so that's just so random.
Yeah, I watched Captain America: The Winter Soldier because it came up in conversation somehow, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen that for a while. I'll pop that on. But I did watch it on Disney Plus. So the thing is, being that, like, well, I could watch it on my iPad. I don't have to, like, go and get it off the thing. And anyway, but I got that new Star Wars video game yesterday, so that'll keep me busy for a little while.
Oh, how's that? Have you started it yet?
Yeah. Look, I'm literally just at the start. I'm like, right at the start. Yeah, it's good. So far, so good. Feels pretty Star Warsy. It's you're sort of cruising around shooting fools and doing stuff. The character's good. She's got like a really cute little friend you kind of get to cause mischief with and stuff. And yeah, it's fun. It's different to the Jedi ones are more like you got a lightsaber, just get out there and slash everybody. This is more like you got to kind of sneak around and do stuff. So yeah, it seems reasonably authentic, I suppose. I don't know. It's cool. I don't know. Will he get that? Is it his bag?
I don't think so.
You don't kind of just walk past and go, oh, what's going on there?
He's so behind in video games. Like, I think he's still on like Grand Theft Auto, like 3. I don't know.
3 from 2002 or something.
Yeah, like he has to get through games before he can like move on to the next one. And like I feel like I relate to that so much where like I can't plan something in real life until like I'm done with something else. Like I can't plan 2 things at once because it's like it's not doable for me. So I completely understand that in like a video game standpoint, but I actually haven't asked him about it. I don't, because he has the PlayStation 4. I'm not sure if it's on the PlayStation.
Yeah, I don't
4.
think it is. I just got it on the new Xbox one.
Now?
Yeah, I got it on Xbox because I've actually got both. My brother's got an Xbox, and I just said, "Oh, you can have it when I'm done." So I'll make sure I get the one that you can use it on. But yeah, look, I'm the same. I only have one game on the go, and I'll play that until it's done, and then I'll move on. So I'm only get a couple of new games a year. But I listen to something like High Potion with Hawes, and he's just got like 5 games on the go, and it's too much juggling. I don't have that kind of time to kind of do that. But
yeah, that's a lot of work too. Like I remember during COVID, I was really into Animal Crossing, and I played that religiously. Like I would, because of course, like you're locked in your home, and it felt like it was summer camp because it's like I'd wake up, my sister would bake and cook for us, and then we'd go play badminton, and then we'd go play dominoes, and then we'd watch movies.
You're at the Brown family compound or something, were you, for COVID?
Yeah, it was all of us 2 there. It was just deeply unfortunate because Carlos was he was living with his parents at the time, and we didn't know anything about COVID because we're like, we probably just can't see each other. We didn't see each other for like 3 months because we didn't know. So it was like this like tragic like Romeo and Juliet like. But then finally, I think like May hit, and we're just like, we both I had to go back to work when I was working at the casino, which feels like an eternity ago. And I was like, well, if I'm going back to work and I'm gonna be around all these casino people, then I should be around you too, because that's that's just crazy. But
yeah, we had all these. When we had the crazy Melbourne was one of the most locked down places. We went for ages and ages, and there were sort of these rules that you'd have, and then they would sort of get looser and looser, and you could have one friend come over, or you could have, a gathering of 2 people at your house, and blah blah blah. And that just feels like a lifetime ago now, really. But
yeah, like I remember at the Santa celebration Anaheim, and it was weird because like they made everyone wear masks, which like, well, yeah, I'll wear masks, like that's fine. Like you tell me to wear one, like I'll wear one, cool. But like a month or 2 later, it was D23, and like no one was wearing masks. It was so interesting. It was like, oh, okay, like is this just like, that was like one of the first events I went to where like I didn't bring my masks with me because I'm just like, all right, like.
I feel like it was really late last minute too, the Anaheim one with masks. Like we were kind of going, I wonder whether they will or they won't. Like it didn't, like I said, like where we were so used to doing masks. We're just, I think at the time there was sort of some people being like, oh, it's outrageous. I'm like, dude, we're from Melbourne. We've been wearing masks for ages. It's a walk in the park for us. But I do feel like that came out quite late. And lots of people still got COVID. I remember at towards the end of it, like it was like COVID. It was like COVID crazy at the end of Anaheim. I didn't get it, but
oh my god, yeah! Like I remember, like Raj's father-in-law got it, or I mean, say it's my father-in-law too. We share in-laws, but yeah, my father-in-law got it because Raj was having that party, and he's like, "Oh shit, you got COVID," but I mean, he hadn't had any physical contact with it, but everyone's like, "Yeah, sure, that's fine." But then like everyone else got it too. Like I know Kev got it. I think Emily got. Like everyone got it, but then like. Celebration is just such like a beautiful time because that was a time for our beautiful. I don't even know what their group name is. Kev and Emily.
Oh yeah, do they have a couple
Like,
name?
I don't know. Like,
You can't really do Emil, Kev, Emil. You have to be Kevily. Probably makes the most sense.
Kevily. Yeah, our lovely Kevily was able to, evolve and become what it is today.
Do you think? I want to speak out of turn for Emily, and I'm sure she can speak for herself. But do you think that deep down, it bugs her that she met her future husband at a Star Wars thing? Do you think that she's just like, oh, it's a Star Wars? You know what I mean? Like, she's got such a love-hate thing with Star Wars. Does it feel like this? It's just like, oh, that's the story I've got to go with.
I don't know. I haven't asked her about that. I just think it's just so beautiful that we met each other, and then she met Kev. Like, and I tell people all the time, like, Emily is like the love of my life. Like, I love Emily like more than like anything. And just seeing her like so happy and like meeting Kev, I'm like, I feel like I hit the lottery. Like, I can't imagine how she feels like with him. Like,
they're getting married first, right? Weren't they?
Yeah, they're getting married. Yeah, good for them. Like,
they're doing the whole overseas and they're doing. Like, I did the overseas like long distance relationship for a year, and it's commit. You got to commit. You got to commit.
Yeah, like Carlos and I were long distance like for 2.5 years before we moved in together. Actually, no, it was it was like 3.5 years, but we lived like 2 hours apart. So I mean, that doesn't count. That we didn't have to take a plane to see each other. Like, that's just so hard.
So when you go to Disney, Paris doesn't have Galaxy's Edge, does it?
No, it doesn't. And it was really funny because I think like there were rumors when they were building Galaxy's Edge that they were going to build one in Paris.
Yeah.
But then they just decided not to. And they're like, we're just going to build Frozen and now Lion King instead.
Lion King? What's Lion King Land? Is it just animatronics?
Well, they're going to do like a log fume Lion King ride at one of the Disney Paris parks.
Okay.
Oh yeah, like this was like last month they had the Disney convention and they had the parks panel. It was so funny because they moved all of the panels to like an actual arena where they have concerts.
I saw that. Now because they normally have that at the same place they have Celebration, or they had Celebration, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same building. So how far away from can you walk there?
No, it was like a 10-15 minute drive.
Oh, right. So do they do shuttles, or is it just like if you want to go to that one, you just got to go there and make your way yourself?
You can either drive or do shuttles. We drove because Rusty was like, I don't trust the public transportation. I'm not sure if we'll get there on time. And we're just like, okay. Okay,
Rusty
Ranger.
Knows. Yeah, Rusty knows.
He's so funny. One of my favorite things about Rusty is when we went to Chicago, he memorized all of the penal codes in Chicago to make sure that none of us would break any laws.
Oh, you know what that means? I've just realized. And I don't know. I'm assuming because you guys aren't going to Japan that Rusty won't be going to Japan.
No, he won't. He can't travel
Rusty
alone.
Rusty let loose in Japan. Oh man.
I mean, who knows? Like, he can't let loose here. Maybe he's going to let loose in another country. Like, I don't know.
That would be amazing.
Oh, yeah. Our little guy. I love Rusty.
It's pretty law and order in Japan. I think he'd like it. But
yeah. He needs to go out more and do things. Like, the only 2 places he wants to travel to are Anaheim, California, and Orlando, Florida.
Well, that's worse places to be. So, was it like a arena sort of thing? Was it kind of like Chicago? You know, Chicago had that arena.
Yes, it was exactly like that. But after every announcement, there was a musical number.
Oh God!
And sometimes it was cool.
And then sometimes it's like, ugh.
And sometimes it was like, stop. Like, okay, cool. Rita Ora is singing this song. And then Meghan Trainor's out here singing the bird song for Mary Poppins. Okay, cool. Like, oh God, like there's Broadway singers, they're announcing something on Broadway. But it's like, I come here for news. I want news. And like, these performances are great. These people are performing their hearts out. But this isn't news.
So is D23 like... I'm just comparing it to Celebration. Does it like have a show floor like Celebration? Do you like walk the floor? Is it kind of the same, but instead of just Star Wars crap, is like Disney crap with a bit of everything?
Yes. And, I hate to say it, but it's like, it's so much more organized, and they have like a red carpet. So like you feel like you're a celebrity, like you're walking around, like they have different pavilions where you wait in a little line and you go through a little like avatar pavilion thing where like you're immersed into Pandora or something, or you go to the TVA where they're treating you like you're, part of, the
There's like an
TVA or
immersive sort of
something.
side to it as well.
Like it's really immersive, and there's cool merchandise. Like we got a bunch of stuff for my mom. Obviously like there's the lines and everything for like the actual merch. Like there are people.
So they do
that,
like a show store, like
they do a show store.
But is it a similar thing? Like they do the app and they do all that kind of. It's all the same. Is it Reed Pop as well? D23.
No, it's actually done by Disney. So there's actual Disney employees on the show floor.
Well, why don't they just do Celebration the same way? Does it feel like it's run better? Like, would you, if they said that Dilly are going to run it themselves, would you be like, hell yeah, give me that? Or like,
Yes. D23 is my favorite convention over Star Wars, just because of just how organized it is, the people working there, most of the time they know what they're doing. Like every now and then there's like the faux pas of like, for some reason, like everyone's queuing outside. One of the things I love about Reed Pop is that like they know us nerds. Like they know keep us indoors, keep us away from the sun, but like Disney doesn't care, because it's like everything they're just like, okay, like just we need to get the people inside. That's all that matters. Like no matter like where they are, it's fine. Like they're all like they're all the way around the block, it's fine. But Reed Pop is like, yeah, put them out downstairs in the
hall,
dungeon for
in the dungeon. Yeah.
I would have much rather have been in the dungeon, because like, Captain Melanoma here, like I can't be outside. Like
you just got the queen of the wide brim hat now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and there were so many times where I was queuing outside where I had to go up to someone and be like, hi, can I go stand in the shade? And they're just like, they're like throwing off. They're like, what
cancer.
do you mean? Thank God I didn't have to pull that. Like the day that I have to pull that will be a very bad day, because
like one day I'll need to play that card, probably in France, and they won't care. You're like, did it at the wrong place to the most indifferent people in the world.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, because like it's sort of, I wasn't quite sure if it was like whether it was just like the thing in the stadium and it's like a show and you sit there and you watch the show and they do everything and there's a bit of stuff around, but it feels like it's that's a bit far in the arena. That would annoy me if it was Celebration for those big panels and you had to like be 10 minutes away, especially if you didn't have a car. Like I guess you just could get on a bus or something. It's bad enough just walking to the other big room.
Yeah, the buses were okay though. Like I know that some people waited a long time, but I think it would have been good if like you had buddies. Like the more buddies you had, like I know like Dom from the SWU, like he came with us a couple of times because we were all going in the same place. Funny enough, like I had sold him one of my tickets because my sister was supposed to come with us, but she didn't. And last minute, I went on Twitter. I was like, hey, who wants to buy my ticket? And he messages me, and I'm like, oh, Dom, really?
Well, that's good. At least it's someone you kind of know. So he's not going to just take the ticket and run.
I know, yeah. So like that was really nice, and I was surprised too, because I mean, like Mr. SWU, I was like, wow. But I mean, it was awesome, like just being able to do stuff with him and him hanging out with us, and because we're a bunch of jokesters.
Well, I don't even know if I even went like the main room in Anaheim, like the big room, because I don't think we got any panels for Anaheim. So I don't think I ever went into that big room. So I'm not even sure how big it is, because I don't think I ever went inside. Like obviously like Chicago had the stadium, like they had the stadium thing as well. And then the London's big room wasn't particularly big either. But yeah, I mean, I guess if it means that you've got a better chance of getting into a big panel, you'd take the bus to the stadium. If they're like going, all right, well, Celebration's coming back to the USA in 2026, and we're going back to Anaheim because we hate Florida now, and whatever. And we've got a Mando and Grogu movie we've got to talk about, and blah blah blah. So there's a strong chance it'll happen. Disney's there and everything else. So, if it turns out that they go, all right, all the big panels are going to be in this stadium that's 10 minutes drive away, I suppose that's better because you got a better chance of getting in.
Yeah, but the kicker is that you had to pay to get into the arena.
Oh, what?
Like, that was a separate price.
What? Just for that panel? Was it like a lottery,
Yeah.
or was it just like you can buy a ticket to that separately?
You bought a ticket to that separately.
Oh, that sucks. Like, well, surely they can't they can't get away with that at Celebration. Imagine that if you got in the ballot and you're like, hey, you got into the friggin' Mando and Grogu movie panel, everybody. Now it's an extra $30 to get into the panel. Oh my God. Well, maybe that was to cover the hire of the stadium. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was crazy because to get into just the convention, it was like $200, but to be able to get into the arena, I'm not crying, I swear. Just for some reason, my throat just got really dry and just tears are just like streaming down my face.
Yeah, it's unfair, actually. Yeah, it's really
this is so unfair. No, but like prices ranged from $300 a person to $2,000.
Oh God, it's like Oasis tickets. It's like what do they call it? Dynamic pricing or whatever it is.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I hear that these Oasis fans are experiencing what us Taylor Swift fans experienced 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. I think that's what's happened.
Wow.
And they didn't actually say that it happened. I've got a few friends who got tickets, including a couple of friends in Australia. But
cool.
But I've seen Oasis 3 times already, and I've got inside word that they might be coming to Australia, so I'm going to wait and see. So I'll wait till that happens.
That's what always happens.
Yeah, and I am a big Oasis fan, so I'd love to see them again. But I saw them twice in Melbourne, and I saw them in Manchester at Manchester City Stadium, which is like their hometown, which was amazing. But at the same time, it was like people peeing into pint cups and throwing their pee over their head in the crowd and stuff like that. So it's pretty raucous. So we'll see.
I've accidentally seen Oasis once.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How did you manage that?
So I got last minute tickets to a Who concert.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll go. I get there. And I hear Wonderwall playing. And I'm like, oh shit, is this Oasis? Like it just didn't register to me like this band playing was fucking Oasis. I was just like, oh, okay. I guess I'm here. Yeah, great. And like, I did the, little meme thing, like, anyways, here's Wonderwall, like,
yeah.
I don't know, but yeah. So when I saw that when I saw that Oasis was like coming back and that getting tickets was crazy, I was like, oh, I remember this all too well. Well, yeah, because I know for getting Eras Tour tickets, it took me 8 hours to secure my tickets. And I was at work all day, just like I had like Ticketmaster up, like I had like 85 windows open. Like I got really lucky. Like there's no reason why I should have been able to get those tickets. Like I did everything that I wasn't supposed to do to get those tickets.
Yeah, we went through it all when she played Melbourne. Oh no, February this year I think it was, and the tickets, the mad rush and everything like that. And we were sort of, we were kind of went, oh, we'll have a go, but it's not life or death for us. It'd be cool to go and say that you did it and things like that. But I had a couple of friends who are really obsessed with getting tickets, and one of my good mates, he got tickets for his family, so he was sort of the guy who went along that we knew. But Disney, Star Wars Celebration, dynamic pricing, extra prices for. I feel like that would be a step too far, but who knows? I guess you've already got the Jedi Master Pass thing, don't you? As far as that's almost like the VIP pass.
Honestly, I really feel like that's the future, is dynamic pricing for, conventions too. Like, think about it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Comic-Con did that too, where to get into those like big panels that you had to pay extra.
Oh man, I don't know if I like that. I mean, yeah.
I don't either.
I don't love it.
I'm old fashioned. Like, I would want to, you know, camp out with some buds, do that kind of stuff. Like, I feel like I arrived late to that party. Like, the only time I ever did that was for D23 with Steel, like, many years ago.
Doing the camp out. Yeah, we never did it. Like, by the time we started going in Chicago, the camping was done. And I remember, like, thinking back, you know, beforehand when they hadn't sort of announced what they were doing, we were just going like, oh, are we gonna have to camp out? Isn't Chicago like really cold? And were we mentally going, would we actually do that or not? And like, I'm glad we didn't have to. And you know, we've had really good luck on panels, and we've had, you know, and like I said, like Chicago we got everything, and then Anaheim we got nothing, and then London we got a couple of things. So it's sort of,
oh yeah,
you know, there's no guarantees in this world. So we'll see how we go in Japan. I'm kind of looking forward to the fact it's only going to be 3 days too.
I know.
3 days feels
I hope
good.
you guys have so much fun. Like, that's going to be so great.
We're still trying to organize. So, you know, we've got our little Discord, and some people are way more organized than we are. And we're still planning on taking the girls as well. So we're just sort of looking at the holiday as a whole and all that kind of stuff like that as well, and how we do all of that. But yeah, the kids seem pretty keen. You know, I don't know how they'll go on a flight for 10 hours, but they'll be all right. They'll just get some serious iPad time in, and they'll be okay. And then we'll take, and then I've got one kids ticket, so they'll just take one of them, potentially one of the days each to celebration if they're interested, and if not,
oh,
you know, they don't
that's
have to go.
That's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I'm looking forward to it. So, are you looking forward to Skeleton Crew? Is it like piquing your interest? Are you a bit like, tell me the week before and I'll put it on?
You know, I love Jude Law. Like,
patron saint of Canto Bight Dispatch.
Yeah, like, I love rom-com Mr. Napkinhead Jude Law. Like, I love him.
You know
I don't love him as a person.
He's a little bit of a swordsman. He's a little bit of like,
yes,
you know, sleep with the nanny kind of vibes.
Yes, literally, he did sleep with the nanny. Literally, like, I mention this on the podcast all the time, that he cheated on his longtime partner with the nanny.
Who's hiring?
Do that.
Who's hiring a hot nanny?
I don't know. I feel like that's so early 2000s. People don't do that anymore. People just, yeah.
Like, get a Mrs. Doubtfire type. And when I say that, I mean a man dressed up as a woman. Yeah, look, Jude Law's quite popular in our house for weird reasons, because Sloane, my youngest daughter, loves that Peter Pan and Wendy Disney Plus one.
I've seen that. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's good. She loves it. That's her Peter Pan. Like, she's like, stuff the cartoon, stuff Hook, stuff, and like, that's her. That's the one that she vibes with. So Jude Law gets a bit of a run at our house purely because he's Captain Hook in that Peter Pan thing. So I'm hoping to do Skeleton Crew for the kids. So they've done, Oliver's pretty much seen everything. Sloane's seen the prequels, and she's seen A New Hope now. So I think, I think Acolyte would have gone over their heads, but I think Skeleton Crew will sort of fit their vibe. So I'm kind of hoping that that's what's, you know, that's going to register with the kids.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a Stranger Things 2 kind of thing.
I don't think it's going to be as scary as Stranger Things. I think it'll be more like a E.T. vibe, which I guess is the same vibe. It's kids on bikes having adventures, you know, leaving mum and dad behind kind of thing.
Yeah, and you have the cute little elephant child. I love that guy.
I love that little guy.
Yeah, I don't even know them yet, but I love them. But yeah, I think it should be fine. I don't know. I have no thoughts. And I think that's really good going into a show and not having any thoughts or opinions. Like, I saw the trailer and I was like, cool. And then I never thought about it again. And
yeah,
I've been finding that doing that with Star Wars has been really healthy for me, because I feel like I used to be so crazy with Star Wars, and especially like when we first got into Star Wars podcasting, like, you know, whenever a trailer would come out, you know, we'd like analyze the shit out of it, you know, write notes and everything. And then it just like, then The Rise of Skywalker came out. And then that changed everything.
Took the lead out of your balloon a little bit, as they say.
Yeah, but I don't know. No opinions are good.
Every now and then I'll fall down the rabbit hole on YouTube and see like so-and-so reacts to seeing Star Wars for the first time or whatever like that. And it's usually just some like, American white lady in her 30s or whatever watching Star Wars for the first time. And there was one lady who was watching, I was like, oh, her reactions are actually pretty good. And she clearly hadn't seen them before. And I was kind of skipping through. And then she was like, oh, then it was kind of interesting because it was like, she watched like the originals first and then, the prequels in that sort of order. And she'd get to like the sequel trilogy and she's just like, oh, today I'm going to watch The Force Awakens and da-da-da, and you all keep telling me in the comments that these are bad and no. She gets in and she's like, I know what you're talking about. That was fine. Like, that was great. I had a great time. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a weird, with none of that, she's so far removed from discourse that she's just like watching it as a movie. But then she got to The Rise of Skywalker and I was watching it and I think she was just like, oh, yeah, that was all right. But I remember, because I haven't really watched it in ages, and I was just even skipping through it going like, oh, that was a bit dumb. Oh, yeah, yeah. Now I remember why I don't like that movie, but oh well.
I don't think I've watched it since it was in the theaters. Like, I don't even remember what happens in the movie other than, like, the big things,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'll sit through. We're about to hit sequel trilogy with the girls, watching them. So I'll watch it then. That's when I'll get to it. I've got to do Empire and Return of the Jedi with Sloane first, and then we'll roll into those. So I'll be watching it soon. It'd be good to probably do like a retrospective or a commentary track or something on Rise of Skywalker and just sort of. But I think it just doesn't really matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and especially now that we get so much Star Wars, like, it's not like you go, oh, well, that's the last Star Wars movie ever, and that was that, and that's how it's ending. It's just kind of like, well, we're going to pick up with Rey soon anyway, and it won't really matter.
And who knows, like, maybe in the next 20 years, like, these will be like the prequels are to us, how, growing up, like, people would always bash the prequels and Jar Jar. And, I feel like maybe in the next couple of years, that people will look back on these movies, be like, wow, like, Rian Johnson was a god. I mean, like, I love Rian Johnson still today, so I'd be
I just
so
love
happy
that they there was an article that came out yesterday saying that the new Knives Out movie he's made cost like $220 million or something to make, which I think is like close to what The Last Jedi cost. And I'm like, gosh, man, that's a lot of money for a bunch of people just sort of standing around in a nice place, getting murdered. But I've got a feeling that, and I can't speak, I've never met Rian Johnson before, but just what the kind of guy is, I think he's just like, I'm just going to make sure all my friends get absolutely paid. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to negotiate a deal where everybody gets the best deal possible. I'm just going to take that Netflix money. It's like, oh yeah, of course. Like, everybody needs to have all this money and do this, and all the crew need this, and this, and this, and he's just negotiated this amazing deal, and that's why it costs as much as The Last Jedi to make a Knives Out movie.
What a guy. I mean, there's nothing negative I can say about Rian Johnson. Well, the only negative thing I can say about Rian Johnson is, where's my other Star Wars from him? But he's a busy guy. He'll get there. Take your time. Take your time, bud.
He'll get there. Yeah. It'd be funny if they just, like the Rey movie that they're going to make afterwards, and they just sort of backtrack all the stuff that happened in The Last Skywalker and stuff like that. They're just, and all the weirdness and things, but whatever. It just goes on forever. Who cares?
Well, it was so bad that the Galactic Star Cruiser, which was like the Star Wars hotel in Florida, they didn't even acknowledge that the Rise of Skywalker happened.
Oh, that's right, because it takes, like, there's Kylo Ren's in it and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, like, and even Galaxy's Edge too. Like, Kylo Ren and Rey are like walking around, like they do not acknowledge.
You're still wondering if they get like, well, I'm wondering if Kylo Ren and Rey at Galaxy's Edge are going to get together. Like, nobody knows. That's officially canon until it's not. You didn't go on that Galactic Star Cruiser thing, did you, before it shut down?
No, I didn't. I mean, I don't even think I wanted to go.
I know you do a lot of park. Was it something you were even like, I think I want to try and make it happen, or you're like,
I bashed it so much. And, like, looking back on it, like, I thought it was insane. But, I mean, if they had, like, a 75% discount, I would totally be on that. Like, I would call into work right now, say, I can't come this week. I'll be back next week. No questions asked.
I'm going to space.
I'm going to space. I'm going on a cruise. I'm going on a cruise.
A galactic cruise.
A galactic cruise, yeah.
To the back, to the behind the fence at, wherever it is, Orlando shipping department that built this like warehouse at the back and like, yeah, you're going a glamorous cruise to space. We're going to bus you to a warehouse out the back and keep you in a box for 3 days.
Oh my God. Well, that's basically it. Like, I don't know. I don't know how that got approved. I just hope that they change that and they make it like an actual hotel instead of like a weird, like, you're on a cruise, you're away from everyone else. Like, I don't know. Like, they just need to have like an actual Star Wars hotel. It's still there.
But does Disney, like, you probably know more about this. Like, if they discontinue a ride, like, I know, like, something like, what's the one where you get wet and you go down you ride the log and you go down
Splash Mountain, but now it's Tiana's.
Yeah, so it's essentially
adventure.
They've just kind of stuck some new posters and got rid of the racism and kind of like, it's essentially the same mechanical ride though, right under there. But the case of Galaxy's Edge, like, is it just sit there in mothballs until they decide what they want to, like, are they going to gut it or they just, like, what do you do with it?
Well, it's a weird area. So it's like it's like surrounded by trees in the parking lot of Hollywood Studios, which is the park that Galaxy's Edge is in, because the hotel has to be close to Galaxy's Edge because people are able to get in, because like on one of the adventure days you go to Galaxy's Edge.
Oh yeah.
So it has to be there. But I don't know, they should just build a hotel there. Like, I feel like, a lot of the hotels on property are so close to the parks. Like, I think they could, really benefit from having a Disney hotel right
just
there.
Punch some windows in the walls and or just, I don't know, put a tunnel or a walkway there and you can just walk around and turn it into a restaurant or something. Like, it's just somewhere to get food. Like, it's probably got working toilets and everything else there.
Oh, yeah.
Kitchens and like, it still looks like Star Wars. Just do something. Shoot the second season of The Acolyte at Galaxy's Edge. No, the Galactic Star Cruiser. So at the start of the season 2 of Galactic Star, Chimera and Osha get on a ship and he's like, I'm going to do your dark side training on the Galactic Star Cruiser. And then they shoot the whole thing. They shoot all of Acolyte season 2 in the Galactic Star Cruiser set.
That's genius. Saves everyone money, saves time, because like they're doing nothing with that right now anyways.
They're
like,
doing nothing. Everybody can sleep there and shoot it. Leslie, Acolyte season 2 is coming back. She's like, oh my God, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. She said, but you've got 10 days to shoot it. You've got 10 days to write it. You got a 30-day window. You've got 10 days to write it, 10 days to shoot it, and 10 days to edit it. And it all has to take place at the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel. We can put some drapes up or something if you wanted to make it look like the Jedi Temple in certain shots. But basically, you can do all of that and you can get, some of the cast back, not all of them, but you can get most of the principals back and a couple of extras and away you go.
There you go.
And you can't spend more than, $1 million.
That's
and it has to be
doable.
8 episodes long.
Oh my God. Yeah, I honestly, like, that's very doable. Like, that's a lot of space that they had on, because I mean, they were able to fit a couple thousand people on that little cruise thing. And then, they have like a restaurant and
you could get extras. You could get people at Galaxy's Edge and say, hey, do you want to be in the Star Wars thing? So if we need extras on that day, you can get them to all come in. Don't look directly at the camera. Just put on some stuff. It can be done. See, this is why we should be in charge of Disney, Brittany, because we're saving money.
Because, like, we are the future of Disney.
Exactly.
And we'll lower Disney Plus prices, too.
Yeah, well, if we can make season 2 of The Acolyte for $1 million, get 8 episodes, shoot it all at Galaxy's Edge. Not Galaxy's Edge. Well, you could do a bit of Galaxy's Edge, but mostly the Galactic Star Cruiser. Yeah, I don't care. You know what? If they said that they did that, and I still got a second season, I get to find out what happens. Just do it. I don't care. Get a stuffed Yoda from the gift shop and put him on the thing and just say that that's Yoda. Just have somebody control him with their hand up his butt like he's just a regular puppet. That's all I need. That's all I need. That's been solved, man. Well, we pretty much got to the end of the podcast, Brittany, and we solved what to do with Galactic Star Cruiser, what to do with Acolyte Season 2, how to save Disney money.
I'm just so proud of us. Like, we've accomplished so much in this hour.
I can't believe nobody's actually thought of that. I'll have to look it up, but I'm claiming that as our idea.
Fantastic.
So what's going on with the podcast, mate? How's the regular catch up with the love of your life going? Podcast going strong? Still putting out quality content?
Oh, we're always putting up quality content. Most of the time, like every other week or something. But we are getting close to our 300th episode.
Oh, 300!
I know.
You guys are pretty consistent. Like, this podcast ebbs and flows on consistency. And you guys, all things considered, all the things and distractions in your lives, pretty consistently get stuff out, which is a testament.
Thank you. I mean, we're no Sith list, but we get it done.
They got 8 dudes on there, so, you know.
They're psychotic.
8 dudes, no chicks, though, just going to say. So, you know, no room for a lady on there, guys?
No room for a lady. I know. They haven't asked me on in so long.
Same here.
Like I
mean, I don't really change the diversity quota if you have me on, but, you know, still.
Oh, yeah. Fun stuff. But no, we love those dudes.
Yeah, they're good. They're good peeps. All right, so Canto Bight Dispatch. Anything else you want to plug before we send you off? Look for you at D23. Look for you at Celebration Anaheim 2026 in the stadium.
Yeah, look for me in the stadium. Look for me at the conventions. I mean, if you have any questions or concerns about Taylor Swift, come to me and I will give you those answers. Or I don't know, like, that's just where my brain's been at lately is, you know, like, Star Wars is old news, Taylor Swift is new news. So
you'll be the lady in the wide brim sun safe hat.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, take care, Brittany. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Congratulations on 300 to you and to Emily. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Give us a bye on the way out.
Bye.
Bye.